Having completed the rear end of our NB48 2.2 buggy, it's time to move our attention across to the front end with Bag H, front end assembly. Bag H contains all the parts required to start off our front end assembly, so the arms and the 2.3mm sway bar. Anyways, we'll start with the inner hinge pin brace, which sits on the rear of the front gearbox, so just under the differential coupler. So again, sticking with stock here, we'll go ahead and insert single center dot inserts into the B block, before placing it into position, and securing using two 14mm button head screws, making sure that the hinge pin holes are facing inwards. Moving across to our first arm now, where we insert the 10mm droop screw on the inner center, followed by inserting the hinge pin bushings on either side, and then the hinge pin itself, followed by seating into position into the brace we just installed. Repeat with the second arm, so 10mm droop screw, hinge pin bushings, the hinge pin, and push into the hinge pin brace. We can then hold in place with the outer brace, again with single dot inserts pushed into either end, after which we simply push into place, before covering with a small front bumper, and securing with a single 14mm button head screw. Like the rear, there's no need to over tighten, we're going into plastic here. So that's our front arms installed and moving nice and freely. We can concentrate on installation of the sway bar next, so with it in place around the front of the gearbox, insert the two spacers, before feeding the sway bar screw mount onto either end, followed by inserting set screws into both. Onto our sway bar linkages, insert a pivot ball into each end, one with just the ball, and one end has a small collar. Again, the Tekno shock tool comes in very handy here. Insert one end of the sway bar into the pivot ball with the collar and use a set screw to secure down into position, complete with a little thread lock too, before placing the other end of the linkage into the suspension arm and securing into position by inserting a 20mm cap-head screw through the arm and the pivot ball, securing it in place. Repeat the same process on the opposite side, securing the sway bar into position. And that's the first part of the front end assembly complete. Just like the rear, the front arms are completely free, no binding and no other issues at all. Next we'll move on to the front spindles and carriers, Bag I.